So welcome to St. Ryan's GA Club here in Banagher for round one of the All-Ireland Camogie Championship between Offaly and Tipperary. We'll give you the teams in full, starting with Tipperary, unchanged as per the match programme. Aquiva Burke in goals, the full back line of Julianne Burke, Mary Ryan and Emer Lockman. Karen Kennedy continues at centre back with Mairead Evaston and Aoife McGrath partnered at wing back. Orla Dwyer and Arena Friday partner each other midfield with Clodagh McIntyre, Roisin Howard and Nicole Walsh. And inside the full forward line of Emer McGrath, Cata Van and also Grace O'Brien. For Offaly, Mairead Jennings deputises in goals with Sarah Walsh, Trina MacDonald and Lorraine Keena in the full back line. Michaela Markham lines out at centre half back, flanked either side by Grania Dolan and Sharon Shanahan. Orla Kerwin, the captain, partners Aisling Brennan in midfield with Siobhan Flannery, Roisin Egan and Mairead Tehan forming the half forward line. And inside, Offaly look for the bulk of their scorers, the Grania Egan, Kate Kenny and also Sarah Harding. Pitch in beautiful condition. Philip MacDonald, the referee, and I'm joined by Sean Dolan. And Sean, certainly Tipperary inflicted a heavy defeat on Offaly back in the league, but this looks a more settled Offaly team and on home patch they look to really get their campaign up and running today.
Yeah, Offaly looks strong today. They have Michaela Morgan gone back into centre back there, probably her most natural role, and pushed Aisling Brennan out to midfield. So I'm sure Michaela will be hoping to protect Trina MacDonald in the full back line, as they conceded 4 goals against Tipperary in the Championship. So that's definitely something they'll have to try and curtail to be in a fighting chance here today.
Offaly on new management since last year, obviously, and during the COVID, Susan Erner has come in, assembled a good coaching team behind her. Probably not ideal COVID preparations heading into that league with little or no work done behind, but certainly you could see an improvement in Offaly throughout that league. And obviously coming into the Championship today, there's been little or nothing between themselves and Tipperary over the last 10 odd years.
Yeah, they had a super win there against Dublin to start off their league campaign, and I was talking to a good few of the girls over the last few months there, and I suppose they're really enjoying it. And that's to get the enjoyment into it is one thing, and then just start winning will be secondary after that.
I suppose your own girls here in St. Ryan's add a lot to that forward line. They'll be looking to Offaly particularly to isolate the likes of Kay Kenny inside on Mary Ryan, because we've seen time and time again in the Offaly Club Championship how valuable Kate is when she gets in front of her opposing marker and goes at the goal.
Yeah, well, we know Mary Ryan, the All-Star, should be top player there for Tip at full back, so Kate will be hoping to probably peel away from her somewhat and be able to stroke the ball over the bar. Great player to watch, and hopefully she'll be able to find a little bit of space off Mary Ryan this afternoon.
Tip, of course, by a lot of dual players, none more so than Orla Dwyer, who of course comes off the back of an AFL campaign at a professional level, so she's obviously going to look to really try and run the legs off the girls in the middle of the field. But Offaly, with a lot of experience there, Orla Kerwin, Aisling Brennan, 2 high-level campaigners at this level.
Yeah, the 2 midfielders, one of them may have to sit back a small bit if they're going to perhaps try and minimise the damage Orla Dwyer is going to cause. I'm sure it'll suit Orla Dwyer there coming back from Australia in these kind of conditions. She might have a slight advantage over the rest of them, but I'm sure Offaly will have plans for that.
Well, we'll pause now for a minute as the referee just going to gather both sets of squads in ahead of Aran Naveen here. Pitch in beautiful condition here in St. Ryan's GA Club here in Banagher in County Offaly. So we're just looking at both captains to come in. Little or no breeze to speak about. I don't think either set's a manager would be worried what way they're playing this, apart from maybe just facing the sun. But extreme heat conditions here. Both squads just assembled, and we'll be ready now momentarily for Aran Naveen.
We're looking at it as a year and a half since Andrew did the inside feed. There's 3 fees there. And the inside feed just being bounded on 3.
I know.
Once he did it, made a long net. The whole lot of it. He said that. He said they should be put in line. Nothing else.
Carly, could we have your attention now, please, for our round of win?
yes, that was Aran Naveen. We keep both eyes now on the captains to win. Orla Curran has done the toss for Offaly. All eyes now on the referee, Philip MacDonald. Great to see a slightly larger crowd just filtering in back as the return to play gets near its destination. Offaly play from left to right as we look at it here from the stand side here in St. Rynas in Banagher. Sarah Harding going in there top at left. Tipperary just making their way back onto the field up to the stand just out to the right hand side behind the goals for Aran Naveen. So Sean, conditions absolutely perfect for hurling. I'd imagine athleticism and the fitness levels are going to be to the fore today.
Yeah, super. I was thinking about coming in there. I was saying it's going to suit the lighter players, maybe players of a smaller, slimmer nature mightn't suit the likes of myself, but we'll be hoping to see players moving around athletically, as you said yourself.
Well, Philip MacDonald just checking with his umpires and the linesmen here, full team of officials for Philip there. So he's just timing the game now, ready to start the match. Murray Jennings in the goals as we look at it. The ball is in, the game is on, and Tipperary immediately look to try and carry it backwards towards their own half back end. They try to get up with Siobhan Flannery, wrestles the advantage away, kicks it out forward to try and make a bit of space for herself, but it just goes out over the side and it'll be a line ball heading up the way for Tipperary. That's going to be taken by Arena Friday. So Offaly just tried to go on the attack there. The ball, you can see it will bounce hard along this surface here. Pristine conditions in Banagher as Tip take that line ball quickly and they come away through Roisin Howard. Roisin Howard gets it forward, but Michaela Markham is back there just sweeping as she's done so Offaly for Offaly in that half back line, and Michaela Markham shortens the grip in the hurl, tries to get it up towards Siobhan Flannery, but again it's well read by that Tipperary attack. Again, Tipperary just try to isolate it inside towards Koch Devan, but again Michaela Markham gets the ball away, but this time misplaces her pass. It comes in field now towards Roisin Howard at centre half forward for Tipperary. She goes in the hack, she tries to take it back on the hurl. Orla Curran in chase, the Tip get the ball inside now to Orla the wire. She just gets hooked at the final moment there by Lorraine Keena, and that's a chance gone a begging for Tip, Sean.
Yeah, super chance there with Tipperary, but Lorraine Keena came across from the far corner, which was super covering there by corner back, so she'd be delighted with a good start like that. But Offaly will have to be careful of this Tip run from early on. So
certainly we spoke before the match and even off air about the impact of Orla O'Dwyer, of course, a dual player for Tipperary and also an AFL star over in Australia, and she has been the early focus of danger so far for Tipperary as they try to work that goal. Offaly immediately don't come on the attack now. They're working forward now towards the number 19, and that is it's not number 19, sorry, it had the names mixed up as Kay Kenny gets in that ball, but immediately Sarah Harding was the intended target, but Tipperary immediately overturned that now and come forward with it, but it's intercepted again in the middle of the field for Offaly, and Offaly look to go on the attack. This is better from the Offaly Camogies as they get that forward through Roisin Egan in towards the Offaly full forward line, but again Tip just smothered that out. They try to work the short pass out towards the middle of the field. It just goes over the head of Gráinne Dolan, and Tip look to go on the attack through Clodagh McIntyre. Clodagh McIntyre now being chased all the while by Gráinne Dolan. Michaela Markham comes back, but Tip just a cut inside. They eventually get the hand pass back out. They'll have a chance, but it's well blocked by Michaela Markham, but only breaks as far as Roisin Howard. Roisin Howard is blocked up all the while by that Offaly defence. Tip though still maintain possession of the sliotar to get it towards Koch Devan, who works it out wide, and Tip will have the chance of an opening score, and eventually they get it there. I think the final stroke of that ball went over from Grace O'Brien, and is Tip who opened her account. And again, Sean, they have to be patient here. Offaly were working hard in defence.
Yeah, Offaly defence very, very well disciplined there, very impressive. Perhaps a little bit unlucky, the referee could have given a free for Offaly there for overcarrying, but he deemed it fair enough to let play on. So Offaly defending well, although after conceding a point.
So Offaly now try to get it forward once again, but again Tip just win that battle in the middle of the field, and they try to set away towards the Offaly goal once again. A good crossfield ball comes in there, and now all of a sudden Orla Dwyer's released on the ball 21 yards out. Orla Dwyer solos forward and has the ball in the back of the Offaly net. She did threaten in the first minute. She was well hooked on that occasion by Lorraine Keena, but certainly Sean powered through there, and there's only one thing on her mind.
Powered through there, bounced it off the AstroTurf here in Banagher, and really the goalkeeper there, Murray Jennings, didn't really have much of a chance. Worrying times there for Offaly. That's her second time through on goal there. Very, very similar attack to the first one where she was hooked.
Well, Michaela Markham goes out, she won the advantage, she continued forward with the ball but got no further, and she'll come back now for the advantage. But certainly you could see by the way Tip set up, Orla Dwyer now out of the wing forward. She had gone in straight at full. Tip just seemed to interchange and rotate their forward unit, but certainly Orla Dwyer, we said it about her, she's a very strong, willing runner on the ball and has her goal. So it's 1-1 Tip, it's no score for Offaly. Michaela Markham sends that ball down into the forward line, and again Offaly just can't maintain possession of it, and away come Tipperary once again. Offaly try to tackle it down there back on the tip half back line as it comes up the field, and Sharon Shanahan just brings it out off her hurl, and it's going to be a line ball of Judge now to go in for Tipperary once again, and Orla Dwyer is going to be the woman to take, as Tip just have someone down receiving a bit of attention. I just think she's more winded than anything else, but certainly a blistering start so far from Tipperary, Sean.
Yeah, blistering start there. Michaela Morgan has to sit deep enough to try and give her full back line some cover. The interlinking play between Tipperary has been good. Good few short hand pass seems to be the tactic to run and then lay the ball off the incoming player. But Offaly really could do with feeding the full forward line now as soon as possible, because score is what's needed to settle the Offaly team down here.
Well, there's the referee Philip McDonald just calling that Tip management for a change, so maybe there is going to be Tip enforced into an early change this one, because that player just seems in a bit of bother down in her hunkers there. It looks to be slightly winded, but she's trying to get back up on her feet and be okay. But I think the decision has been made for her, and an early change for Tip. We'll just see who's going off there now. We can catch the jersey number, but certainly Tip will be introducing a sub now momentarily. They will though have the line ball about 50 metres out from the Offaly goal, and Orla Dwyer is the girl about to take it. She cuts it in field a short one, but Offaly will overturn it here now through Aisling Brennan as Mairead Eviston makes her way off the field. Tip just warming up a sub to bring in, and away comes Aisling Brennan with that ball, but she's immediately hooked by Orla Dwyer, but Offaly win it back through Roisin Egan, the dual star. Roisin Egan now gets a hand pass in field as far as Kate Kenny, but she's been adjudged to have switched hands and dropped the hurl there, and Kate Kenny was just away. So again, Sean, one time in Camogie you get away with that drop of the hurl to get it, but now the rule has changed.
Yeah, I think it's only fair that Camogie and hurling should be deemed the same sport. Roisin probably forgot that she couldn't drop the hurler, so a little bit unfortunate. Hopefully it won't happen to her again, but very understandable mistake, I guess.
Yeah, so certainly hard to change the habits of a lifetime as Tip go on the attack once again. They work it in towards Koch Devan. Koch Devan now has it down in the corner from her left hand side. She's shooting from an acute angle, but again, Sean, it's something we spoke about off air, not just in the game of Camogie but any level, is the shot selection. She was definitely at maybe inside the 14 and shouldn't really be shooting from there. No,
very surprising that she took on that shot, but as a forward, sometimes, you know, when the posts are there, you might be starved with the ball for the last 5 minutes. It's very, very tempting, and oftentimes you make the wrong decision.
So again, Tipperary strong in that Offaly puck out, and Orla Dwyer, she carries it forward. Tip now with a couple of quick hand passes now as they come forward through Sarah Delaney. Sarah Delaney, who came in there for Mairead Eviston, is just trying to get that ball forward. Tip now just trying to get inside the Offaly line, but Offaly have won their free that time. Maybe a bit fortunate there, Sarah Walsh. She was just brave on the ball. Maybe a shove in the back there seen by Philip McDonald, and Offaly will take that free quickly up as far as Roisin Egan. Roisin Egan will shoot from halfway. This is going to be a dangerous ball in towards Sarah Harding. Sarah Harding tries to knock it down to herself, but Tip just dispossessed them through Emer Lockman. Offaly though haven't given up on the chase inside as Emma Maroney comes forward and just try and overturn her marker, but she's been adjudged to being a bit too forceful in the tackle, and certainly this will be a free out for Tip. But again, a better movement there by Offaly. Tip take a free quick, and it's smothered up by Siobhan Flannery. She gets her foot to it. It goes across, but only as far as a blue and gold jersey for Tipperary as they get that forward. Michaela Markham and also Trina McDonald tried to watch that one, but again the break just comes for the Tip girls as they work it forward now from Orla Dwyer. She gets it towards Grace O'Brien. Grace O'Brien shoots high up into the air, and we call her for a point earlier incorrect. It was Emer McGrath, but certainly Grace O'Brien adds to Tip's tally, and now that's a goal and 2 for Tip and no score for Offaly. And Sean, certainly Offaly just been starved in that forward unit so far.
Yeah, being starved, we're losing it there in midfield. If we can get the ball quickly into, we're playing a 2-player full forward line, so there's danger in there if we can get the ball in. And here comes the ball in.
Here comes Aisling Brennan now, gets that ball inside. It evades Emma Maroney, and it's left off as far as Sarah Harding. Sarah Harding though having a battle on her hands there to try and keep this ball alive, and gives away the free. And what is of course a big day for Offaly Camogie. The under-16s go up to Breffni Park in Cavan against Meath. The under-16 B All-Ireland. So certainly Offaly come with the next wave of Camogie stars. A lot of work going on there at underage. It would be fantastic if they could return with an All-Ireland title from Cavan today. Of course that's a 1/4 throw-in against Meath up in Breffni Park as Tip take that free now. They don't win it, but they eventually get the break through Roisin Howard. She powers forward now, sends a looping hand pass over the top towards Orla Dwyer, but it's too far. Trina McDonald comes out, but she spills it, and again Orla Dwyer flicks it forward as far as Koch Devan, but Koch Devan just blocked down there by Aisling Brennan. But certainly, Sean, there does seem to be panic every time that Orla Dwyer is involved in a link move.
Yeah, exactly, and I suppose Trina was lucky there. She missed the ball coming out from full back, and Orla Curran there got back and made an initial hook and then a block. So Offaly really doing contempt Orla Curran for that, because there was another goal chance on there for sure.
Well, that ball smuggled out to the left hand side for a 45, which Coach Devan is about to take now, and she is in prime position now to just add to her tally and Tip's tally. It's currently 1 goal and 2 for Tip, no score for Offaly, and Devan now, she's just a yard or two to the left hand side of the post with this 45 as Philip McDonald blows the whistle. Devan lifts that up, she strikes it confidently straight through and over the bar, and already Tip in the ascendancy, Sean.
Yeah, Tip looking strong here. Offaly midfielders have yet really to get a decent ball in. They're sort of hooking the ball in without any real direction at the minute.
Well, Offaly plan to go short with this puck out as far as the youngster Sharon Shanahan. She's one of the real finds up and coming in Offaly Camogie. She gets it forward towards Maria Tehan. Maria Tehan now with a crossfield ball. They'll need to get the likes of Siobhan Flannery into this game, but she's been overturned there by Karen Blair, and Karen Blair gets it forward down again. Tip going the attack, the isolate Orla Dwyer out in the wing. She carries it infield onto her left hand side, shoots on the run. The umpires will have a quick look at this, but they'll signal that's over the bar, and that's a goal and a pint for Orla Dwyer.
Yeah, super score there from Orla Dwyer. Came in on her left hand side and it crept into inside the right hand post there, so she'll be delighted with that.
Certainly the Offaly management just won't be enthused by that start, Sean, because certainly Tip winning all the 50-50 balls, and that's so important in the modern game, is if you're not winning it cleanly from the air like Offaly have just done, winning that ball on the ground is crucial.
Yeah, winning the ball in midfield there so we can set up the next attack. It's all very laboured now at the minute, but hopefully Kay Kenny will be able to put us on the score sheet. Well,
Kay Kenny gets a shot right out on the side, and it looked good for a long time, but just tailed off at the last minute. That's the first wide for the game, but certainly, particularly a game like this, Sean, in the conditions, it's a girl that Offaly are going to have to isolate. The likes of Sarah Harding and also Kay Kenny in particular inside, because it's going to be a forwards game if Offaly can get it, improve their delivery of the ball.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a forwards game here. I was thinking that earlier, you know, you don't want to be a cornerback chasing a good corner forward, so if you play the ball into it, the advantage to the corner forward, hopefully Offaly will be able to exploit some of the Tipperary defence back there.
Well, again, Tip playing good crossfield ball. It just goes over the top as Offaly now through Lorraine Keane try to get back there first, but the van is out in front for Tipperary. She shortens the hurl, comes out feeling away. Tip going the attack now through Emer McGrath. Emer McGrath comes in, gets a shot away off her right hand side, and Tip unerring in their accuracy so far. A second point for Tip's Emer McGrath, and that is now the whole full forward line with scores. That's 2 for Emer McGrath and a goal and a point for Orla Dwyer. That signals a goal and 5 for Tipperary and no score yet for Offaly as we look at the clock, and we're into the 14th minute now. There'll be a water break soon, and my God, they'll certainly need it in a scorching hot day like today. Again, Tip creating the overlap now. They have runners at will, and that's Karen Blair who gets that shot away, and again another good score for Tipperary. And Sean, it's been all one-way traffic so far.
It's been all one-way traffic there. Tipperary half back line coming up and really putting the foot on the throat of Offaly here. Perhaps May Jennings will try and slow this game down, and Offaly will be hoping for a water break as soon as possible, so they can perhaps regather and go to the game plan again.
Well, we did mention about Orla Dwyer before the game. She's not actually lining out in an orthodox position at all, Sean. She's spending a lot of time in this right wing at full, back around middle of the field. We did speak before the match, maybe Offaly might just bring someone out around the middle of the field and maybe leave 2 girls inside as they go on the attack here. We'll get Sean's point in a second. Kay Kenny now breaks onto this breaking ball, but again it's robbed back off her through Mary Ryan, and Tip go away with it once again, get it up the field now as it comes into the corner towards Emer McGrath. Lorraine Keane has lost her hurl, allow McGrath just to get on that ball and go forward. She uses good acceleration to get inside, but she's overcarried that ball. But certainly, Sean, maybe if Offaly could just leave 2 girls inside, maybe bring Emma Maroney or someone out to the middle of the field, it might just take a bit of pressure off.
It's definitely working, but in fairness to the other girls, the ball is going in there. I think perhaps Offaly full forward line, they might need to fight for the second ball. So if you lose the first ball, the second ball is just as important, and perhaps we can work a little bit harder on that.
Well, Tip get it up the field once again. It goes down into the corner and Orla Dwyer. She's in yards of space, but she won't shoot from there, but she might opt to run this ball in along the end line. And here comes Orla Dwyer. She skips by Grania Dolan, shortens the grip on the hurl, gets the strike away and gets another score. And that's a goal and 2 already for probably Tip's leading star name in Orla Dwyer. The umpire took his time putting up that flag, but certainly was definitely over the bar. And now Tip hold a 10-point lead. It's a goal and 7 for Tip, no score for Offaly. Maria Jennings just cutting a bit of a despairing look in the goals, because she hasn't done anything wrong in this game yet, but certainly her puck out's not sticking as they get that ball out the field once again. They go down into the corner now as Emma Maroney looks to try and break onto this ball for Offaly. She kicks it forward, but it is going to be Tip who just flick it away, but it's overturned by Roisin Egan once again. Roisin Egan now tries to carry it forward, shortens the grip on the hurl, gets it towards Siobhan Flannery. A better touch this time from Flannery. She feeds it out towards Kay Kenny. Kay Kenny now just gets onto that left hand side, shoots on the run. Can Offaly get their opening score? The umpires have a look, and that is a fine score by Kate Kenny and Sean. A player we just spoke about. The more ball they can get in front of Kate, the better chance Offaly have up there.
Yeah, nice to see some composure there in the Offaly forward line, showing some confidence. Siobhan probably miscontrolled the first ball there, had the whereabouts to flick it off to Kate, who nonchalantly struck it over off her left.
Well, I certainly think we made a mistake on the jersey numbers. It is actually Grania Egan over there that I call Emma Maroney, because Offaly just line out with maybe a couple of incorrect jerseys as per programmes, but it is Grania Egan who went on that attack before Kate Kenny got that score. As Tip go up the field, ball pulled out to the right hand side and wide, so that is their third wide of the game now. It's Tipperary a goal and 7, Offaly a point, as Maria Jennings once again with the sliotar in hand now, opts to go long. This time she goes out towards the middle of the field in the general direction of Aisling Brennan. It's blocked down from Tip, but Offaly's captain Orla Curran whips on that and sends it up the field for Maria Tehan to chase. 3 Tip girls around her, and it is Tip who overturned this once again, but Offaly in the tackle tried to win it back, but again Tip just resourceful as ever through Grace O'Brien. She goes back as far as Arena Friday now gets it, but it just hits off the body of Maria Tehan, as Maria Tehan brings it forward. She wins this now for Offaly, can't get a shot away, but might be able to get a ball in towards Sarah Harding. Sarah Harding now out in front, she's flanked there by Aisling Brennan. Brennan now picks up this ball, she looked to be straight through, but the referee had already blew for the free. And Sean, sometimes it's so frustrating for forward, just the ref blows it at the real wrong time.
Yeah, especially if you feel it's like rugby when you break the line. When you feel you're inside, you get a slight tug, and hopefully you're hoping the referee will see the danger that you've seen. But the referee there, Philip MacDonald, said maybe Offaly would be better off taking the score here.
Yeah, I think so, and possibly thought it might be moved in. The referee had just gone in and thought maybe there was a bit of dissent, but it looks like it's just going to be a free out, narrow enough angle out on the 21 metre line, but certainly well within the range of Maria Tehan. So just Offaly will do well, just get a settling score, tap this ball over the bar and get back into this game, because Tip have started with a blistering pace, and after almost 18 minutes of the game, it is Tip a goal and 7, Offaly a point, but it could be 2 points now momentarily, as Maria Tehan just settled herself there. Now the linesman has gone back off the field and the referee blows the whistle for the game to continue. Here comes Maria Tehan now with the free. This is Offaly's first free inside that Tip half, and Maria Tehan duly obliges, taps it over the bar, and just as the referee blows, it's going to be for the water break here, and he'd probably allow an extra minute or two given the conditions today. But look, Sean, never say that Offaly are out of this game by any means, but certainly a blistering start by Tipperary, and they'll be really good in creating overlaps through that Offaly defence.
Yeah, blistering start there, got through on goal, or O'Dwyer got through on goal twice there. Was hooked the first time excellently, but the second time, if you keep knocking, one of them's going to go in, and you would have to say Tipperary do look very dangerous from the start, and Offaly only registered 2 points, so hopefully they'll be able to bet a ball into the full forward line. And full forward line, as I said earlier, might need to fight a little bit harder for that second ball, as you know, Tip full back line wants to get the ball. It's difficult conditions here, but maybe we could put a little bit more pressure on them.
And certainly it just seems, Sean, from what we're looking at here on the stand side, that it's like a block wall in that Tip half back line. If they're not winning in the middle of the field cleanly, they seem to be winning all those breaks. And Offaly, you look at the likes of Grania Egan, Kate Kenny and Sarah Harding inside, they've really been limited to 1 or 2 attacks. Yeah,
1 or 2 attacks, and you know, the Tipperary backs, they're tigerish, the full backs, they're tigerish, and particularly if for a full back line, if there's only 1 or 2 balls coming in every so often, it's very easy to keep your head and concentrate on that, whereas if the ball is coming in, you're having a constant tussle with the forward, it's a different story. So at the moment, the full back line for Tipperary look very comfortable and are finding great form back there.
And it's going to be, we're a little under 15 minutes away maybe from half time, but certainly fitness levels are going to tell, Sean, because we all love, you know, playing hurling and camogie on a fast surface on a dry day, but that is energy zapping stuff out there.
Yeah, it's not easy now, especially it's always harder to run after the ball than run when you have it, so I'm sure Offaly will start to be feeling the fatigue more so than Tipperary.
Well, Philip MacDonald not allowing them too much time to gather their thoughts. They have the water on board, and certainly Tip just second back out onto the field here, but they're first on the scoreboard. It is Tip a goal and 7, Offaly 2 points, down into the last quarter of an hour here in this first half after the water break. And as we said, they definitely deserve a day like today, because this is extreme heat conditions. If you think the girls are struggling out in the field, we're certainly struggling here in this commentary box in Banagher, but it is going to be Tip who will go back on the attack now from their goalkeeper Caoimhe Burke. Referee just blows the whistle and the game is back underway. Caoimhe Burke sends it out towards the middle of the field and finds the unmarked Grace O'Brien, and this is typical Tipperary just to set that attack away. But again, Grania Dolan now, she powers back into it for Offaly, gets it up the field, but again it's Tip who overturned that ball and whip it in to the square once again towards Koch Devan. Great catch by Koch, she gets it out towards Nicole Walsh, and Nicole Walsh gets the score. And again, Sean, you just have to admire the game the Tip are playing. They're really feeding into the girl in the best position.
Yeah, and coach has shown a super pair of hands there. I've noticed she tends to switch her hands a small bit, which oftentimes would lead you to confusion with yourself, but she's well able to do it. She caught the ball there in her right hand, switched the hurl across and flicked it off, in coming forward there with her left hand. So massive skill there by Court. Really a target player for sure.
Well, Maria Jennings now, she's been probably the busiest Offaly player, having to puck out this ball so many times so far, but Offaly just struggling to really get a foothold in this game as Maria Jennings sends this ball out towards the middle of the field. It breaks in the direction of Roisin Egan, but again, Tip through Karen Kennedy, quicker to react, to send that ball down the corner now, and Coach Siobhan has it in acres of space. She's at a narrow angle, doesn't get up the first time, but she'll have plenty of time to get it back. She sends a ball across the square. Trina McDonald will have to be on alert here, and she is. She wins that ball now, tries to get the hand pass out, but it's overturning. Here come Tip on the attack, looking for goal number 2, but a fine save by Maria Jennings from point blank range from that Tipperary attack. Lorraine Keenan now just tries to clear up the mess and gets it out to Michaela Markham, and she strikes it long up the field towards Maria Teagan, but again Tip just out in front, first to the ball. She picks out Arena Friday. Arena Friday now goes cross field. That's another great ball in the general direction of Koch Levan. I think it is, and indeed it is Koch, but this time just falling away from the goals out to the right hand side and wide. But Sean, talk us through that save.
Yeah, super save. No, it was hit at a nice height for her, but she was well positioned, so she gave herself the best opportunity to save it. So she did well. Trina McDonald there, be thankful for that save too.
And certainly Sharon Shanahan gets that puck out from Ray Jennings. She tries to send it in towards that Offaly centre forward position. Roisin Egan just trying to win this, so too is Siobhan Flannery. She knocks it forward towards Kate Kenny. Kate Kenny now surrounded by blue and gold jerseys, but finds a hole, and here goes Kenny. Kenny now is on the 45. She's heading for the 21. She's still going forward, just momentarily lose that ball. Tip cleaned it up through Mary Ryan. She had the advantage, but she won't need it. She picks out the unmarked Grace O'Brien, and certainly it's Tip playing now with a two-lady full forward, and as they set off up the wing, as Clodagh McIntyre looks to get there ahead of Sharon Shannon. Clodagh McIntyre back in onto her left hand side. She'll have the chance of a shot and over the bar, and Tip getting their scores so easy, and that's 5 of Tip's forwards now along with Ora Dwyer have all registered scores. And certainly, Sean, a credit to the Tipperary team. They're really playing a fantastic brand of camogie here.
They're playing it well, and they're very light on their feet. They seem to have a jink in them every time they get the ball, which on a day like today, as we alluded to earlier, it's very, very difficult to defend, particularly going on the back foot. So Tipperary forwards difficult to deal with now as it stands. Well,
that's a fantastic catch by Orla Dwyer. She looked to get back on her right hand side, realised the shot's not there, and she finds Roisin Howard. Roisin Howard ploughs forward but gets stood up there and fouled by Michaela Markham. Didn't think Michaela done a whole pile around there, but certainly Roisin Howard, she's trying to get through an amount of work at centre half forward. The only Tip forward that hasn't scored yet, but certainly she's won this free, and that's as good as a score if Koch Devan can do her duties and put this ball over the bar. It's 1-9 to Tipperary, 2 points to Offaly. In case you've just joined us here, certainly a blistering start by Tipperary into the 23rd minute of this one, as Philip MacDonald now just blows the whistle here. He indicates that there's a pull back of the jersey by Michaela Markham, and Koch Devan now is going to have the free for the Premier ladies here, and lifts that ball and strikes it just inside the post. Anywhere inside them will do, and that's another pointed free for Koch Devan, and it is now Tipperary with an 11-point lead, a goal and 10 Tipperary, 2 points for Offaly. And Offaly, certainly, I don't know where they're going to find at the minute, but they'll be looking to finish this half strong. Maria Jennings now comes out the field. She was thinking of hitting it down the middle, but she opts to go now out to the right half back, Grania Dolan. Dolan now in a bit of space, tries to send a good ball up the line, which she does to Mairead, or to Grania Egan, but again Orla Dwyer smothers that up, and away comes Tip with the ball, and now Dwyer has it, and she's running direct through the centre of the field. She's been chased all the while and gets half took by Maria Teagan. The ball breaks in now where Lorraine Keena is out in front of it. She leaves it off to Michaela Markham, who's back there just trying to tidy up in defence. She gets it out now towards Aisling Brennan, but again Tipper just alive to attack it each time, but Brennan finds good space now, sends it up the field, but just runs out of green grass and out over the line. And certainly, Sean, the one facet of play apart from Tip's over Lincoln play and their work rate, it's what they're doing off the ball is really impressive.
Yeah, they're very aggressive on the ground as well. You know, they're coming in at speed, and if you miss it the first time, it's better than another girl comes in after you instead of being tentative. So Tipperary not tentative at all. Their ball hits the ground, they're straight in on top of it, showing massive hunger in there.
Well, again, Tip go on the attack now to get it in towards that full forward line, but Maria Jennings races out like a flash off her goal line and opts to switch the point of attack out now towards the right side of midfield. But again, Koch Devan is out there, and Tip's certainly not lining out in their orthodox positions. Very hard for Offaly to get their bearings there, but just as Roisin Howard looked to get through, the foul was blown in favour of Offaly. Offaly as the Tip ladies just threw that ball, and certainly Sean, it's very hard even as a defender to pick out where Tip are going to line out. Wherever the forward finishes, when there's a score, they'll just finish in that position, because Orla Dwyer now lining the corner forward, but she won't be there for too long either.
Yeah, and it's very difficult at times, like if you're not playing that well as a back, and next thing forward comes onto you who's in good form, you know, 1 or 2 runs and your confidence is low. So Offaly hoping to survive now till we get to half time.
Well, certainly it's hard to know which management team will want to get the half-time back a bit quicker, but maybe Susan Erner and her management team will just look to get in and refresh Offaly ahead of this second half, because certainly Tip have stolen a march here late in this first half. It's currently a goal and 10 for Tipperary, 2 points for Offaly. Offaly now just trying to tidy up their backline, and Trina McDonald gets it out as far as Aisling Brennan. Brennan shortens the hurl and sends a good ball towards Kate Kenny. Kate Kenny now tried the sidestep there, but eventually hand passes it off to Aisling Brennan, who shoots on the run. Tipperary just watching this ball, it might drop in the square. Good hands there from the goalkeeper Caoimhe Burke, but there's been an infringement there by one of the Tip players, it possibly seems. The referee had blown his whistle in advance of Caoimhe Burke catching that ball. I didn't quite catch what happened there, Sean, but certainly it looks like Offaly are going to have a free.
Yeah, a free here, so perhaps Gráinne Egan is the one to step out and take it. Aisling Brennan really coming into the game there at midfield. The 2 midfielders for Offaly were quite in the first 15 minutes. After coming into it now, the last 15, so it's a good sign for Offaly. You know, Aisling Brennan, one of the best strikers on the team, and we're hoping to fill the full forward line with plenty of ball.
Well, it's Mairead Tehan is going to have this free now, about 62 or 3 metres out, almost a yard or 2, maybe 3 in from the sideline. She might get the score here, well capable of striking it, but if Offaly were to just get that ball in around the square, maybe lash it to the back of the net, it'll be game on, because certainly you'll feel Offaly, even at this early stage, are going to have to raise a green flag or 2 here in Banagher. Mairead Tehan out lifts that ball, she strikes it well, she has the distance, the umpire standing underneath the post, and they didn't need to stand for too long, because that's a brilliant pointed free by Mairead Tehan, and from distance there, Sean, right to take her score if she's capable of it.
Yeah, super score there, delighted for her. We need Gráinne playing on top conference to be a chance now in the second half.
Well, Offaly now try to overturn this puck out, and they do. Roisin Egan gets it down as far as Mairead Tehan. Mairead Tehan shoots. This time it breaks in around the square. Again, good handling by Caoimhe Burke in the goal for Tipperary as Siobhan Fanner tried to close, and away come Tip with that ball now to send a crossfield ball over to the other side of the midfield here in the stand side here in Banagher, as Offaly just try to battle to get away from this Tip onslaught. It is Nicole Walsh now who looks to go forward with it. One-handed, she tries to get it forward, but Offaly just try to block up their markers there. Sarah Walsh, but the free had been earlier given away by possibly Gráinne Dolan, and it's going to be moved forward now another couple of yards for descent, and Tip now will have an easier chance for Coach Devan to come out. So it's currently Tip a goal and 10, Offaly 3 points, 10 points between the sides, but certainly Coach Devan, she's just about 35, almost 40 metres out here, slightly to the left hand side of the goal, and she'll certainly be confident of trying to put this one over the bar and further advance Tipperary's lead on Offaly. So all eyes now on Coach Devan as she just squares her shoulders up to the post, and all Mairead Jennings now can do is just watch this one and see what happens here, because Tip looking also comfortable in this game so far. Devan now lifts that ball, strikes it confidently, playing with full confidence, and that's straight over the crossbar. And again, Tipperary not letting Offaly off the hook, Sean.
No, and I think it's just don't want to be there. I think the physicality has a lot to be said for her in this game as well. Tipperary forward seems to be able to step inside the shoulder there, so Offaly being forced to foul because they're not maybe as physically strong as Tipperary in certain parts of the field.
Well, Tip trying to get a ball in there towards that Tipperary full forward, but again Mairead Jennings quick off her line, gets it out towards Gráinne Dolan, spills away from Dolan. She'll have to try and keep this in play, but it's going to be a line ball for Tip. Gráinne Dolan pleads her case with the linesman, but he's not for changing his mind, and certainly it's going to be another attack now for Coach Devan. We have a look at the clock now. We are in almost 30 minutes played here, so there'll be a couple more minutes in this first half, owing maybe to that water break amongst other things, as Coach Devan whips in that line ball. Trina McDonald first to react, but again Tipperary just dispossessed the Offaly women here as Coach Devan shoots out on the side, and this will possibly be scored a match if it goes in, and certainly Sean, from the angle under pressure, that's a very good score.
Yeah, Coaches seems to be a different class out there. Beautiful hurler to watch, striking off right and left, free taking's been immaculate. Really top forward, very natural forward.
Well, Mairead Jennings now comes with yet another puck out for Offaly, sends it out towards Aisling Brennan, with the ball just sprays away from Brennan. Brennan now trying to win it back on her knees, there tries to flick it forward, but again it is Tipperary who win that through Grace O'Brien. She just got a slight little tip on the side of the helmet. Don't think there was anything too malicious in that, innocuous enough. Aisling Brennan just pleads her case there to the referee. I think Michaela Markham was involved as well, but meanwhile Tip are going to have this free, and Koch Sivan making her way out, obviously not worried about the distance here. Slight breeze, if there is any, from right to left as we look at it, will suit Tip in this opening half, as Philip MacDonald is just going to the notebook, and there's going to be a yellow card brandished to Aisling Brennan. She's been, to her credit, one of Offaly's busy players so far, just trying to create something there around the middle of the field, but certainly Koch Sivan now just almost on the halfway line here, maybe 10 yards in from the sideline. She's going to try and get another effort on target for Tipperary. So it's 1-12 Tipperary, 3 points for Offaly. Will it be 1-13 now? Only Koch Sivan will know as she lifts that ball. She strikes it long. She looks like she's going to have the distance, and she has the accuracy to match. And certainly another huge score, Sean.
Another huge score from Koch Sivan. She really found the range. Offaly struggling to keep up with Koch. She's shown she's a different class out there now this afternoon.
Well, Mairead Jennings, she tries to get this out towards the middle of the field once again. This time it might break for Orla Kerwin. She whips on it forward, nice and quick, takes set away at Roisin Egan. Roisin Egan now offloads the hand pass back towards Orla Kerwin. She tries to find the gap. Kerwin now goes forward, possibly fouled, but the referee says no. Eventually had the advantage given. Hadn't seen him raise the hand, but certainly Orla Kerwin looked to be fouled, and this will be a chance for a much needed score for Offaly. It's currently Tipperary, a goal and 13. Offaly 3 points, and it's going to be Mairead Tehan now with the free. She landed a huge one from 63 or 4 metres out on the sideline there a couple of minutes ago, and she now is just on the 45, slightly out to the right hand side of the goal. Should suit a right sided free taker, as Philip MacDonald again just positioned himself in the 21 to have a look at this one. And every score that Offaly can manufacture here, they'll need it, because they've been under pernicious pressure in this match so far, as the referee blows the whistle now, and here comes Tehan for Offaly. Tehan lifts that ball, just comes up off the hurl and gets it inside the post, curls it in beautifully, and a much needed score again. But Offaly really been limited of prime possession in this game. Just the third pointed free, and one of course from Kate Kenny. It's now Offaly 4 points, Tip a goal and 13, and again Tip win that puck out now through Clodagh McIntyre. She turns and goes forward, tries to send it down the line, as Michaela Markham looks to win this race, but the ball gets there first out over the sideline. And again, Sean, certainly Offaly just living on scraps in this one.
Offaly living on scraps, yeah. Tipperary being able to throw around the ball a lot more easily there around the middle, so they're providing better quality ball in to full forward line. Very, very difficult to defend a top class forward in conditions like this. You're not quick on her feet, able to jink right or left. You're not really giving your cornerback much of a chance if there's not pressure on the ball coming in. So Offaly really struggling with putting pressure on in around the middle third here.
Well, into additional time in this first half, Offaly try to send across the ball. That's well held by Grania Dolan, who gets it forward to Roisin Egan. Roisin Egan now opts to go long down towards Siobhan Flannery, but again Tip just out there. But Mairead Tehan wins that back, gets a shot away, and that's a brilliant score by Mairead Tehan, and that's much better, Sean.
Yeah, super score there by Mairead Tehan. Read exactly what Mary Ryan was trying to do there, flick the ball out over her head. She managed to block it, knock it down to herself. She had a lot of time in it. I feared that was going to go right or left, but she took it on the run and straight between the posts. Super score there from Mairead Tehan.
So a much needed score from Offaly, and of course a much needed score from play as Tipperary go forward to that ball once again. They get it in field. It just goes over the head of both Lorraine Keena and her marker there, Emer McGrath, but Offaly just can't even get the ball out over the end line as Tip managed to keep it in. A good block there though by Lorraine Keena, and again it falls though to a blue and gold jersey. And away come Tipperary once again. They have an overlapped runner, and that is Arena Friday. Arena Friday now back onto her left side, and despite the attention of Aisling Brennan, she curls that in over the bar, and she becomes the latest Tip player to open her account. So Tip now go further clear once again. They lead by 12. It's a goal and 14 for Tip. Just the 5 points so far for Offaly, as Mairead Jennings again gets good length in his puck out towards the second 65. Sarah Harding tries to win it and spectacularly flicks it up and wins her free, and that's more like what Offaly needs. Harding tries to get it forward quick, but the Tip player just standing in her way. So certainly as we approach half time now, Mairead Tehan is going to have another chance of free. She's back behind the 65 this time, and again well capable of slotting them over from here, Mairead. But if Offaly could just get that break inside, and maybe the likes of Siobhan Flannery, who's in at full forward now, could pounce and just get a much needed goal, because Sean, even at this early stage, you feel Offaly are going to have to raise more than one green flag to have a chance in this game.
Yeah, for sure, Joe. And also I felt in the first 10 or 15 minutes, the 3 or 4 balls that did go into the Offaly full forward, there was 2-on-2 there at times, and you know when there's 2-on-2 there's always danger. Tipperary seemed to have become wise to the fact that Offaly are trying to play that ball long and fast into full forward, and they've dropped the player back to give support there to snuff out any goal chances.
Well, Offaly, that free didn't go over the bar, but certainly they'll go on the attack now once again. Can Offaly get a score here to try to bring it forward? Again, Tip just blocking up the Offaly players, but it breaks out to Maria Tehan, and certainly Maria Tehan warming to the task, Sean.
Yeah, super score from Maria there. She took one off the right there about 4 or 5 minutes ago now. She after hitting one off the left. So good save with Offaly forward there, finding form. Hopefully the girls will be able to follow suit now.
Well, with that, Philip McDonald blows for half time here in St. Rynagh's GA grounds in Banagher in County Offaly, where it's been all blue and gold. Blue and gold, certainly the home colours of the Offaly club here in St. Rynagh's, but it's the blue and gold at Tip who are directing proceedings here in the first round of the All Ireland Championship here in Banagher. We're at half time. It is Tipperary a goal and 14, Offaly 6 points. In Tipperary, and certainly Tipperary, the visitors, the happier side. They lead Offaly at half time, a goal and 14 to Offaly 6, and certainly Sean, definitely Susan Erner and her management team would have been the happier just to get in at half time to try and speak to the girls, because certainly a rampant Tipperary so far.
Yeah, exactly, Joe, and probably Susan Erner was probably thinking that key were their performance, so they don't want to drop their standards there. They probably underperformed the first half. We get if 30 minutes more hurling to go here, they don't want it to be an absolute shambles. We're also playing, Offaly are playing into the scoring in this half in Banagher, so we're hoping that maybe the goals that they lacked in the first half might come that little bit easier. Crowd might get behind them there and drive it on.
Well, Offaly immediately go on the attack through Aisling Brennan. Aisling Brennan shortens the grip on the hurl as she runs away from her markers, and that's a fine score, Sean, to signal intent at the start of the second half.
Yeah, exactly, and Aisling will be hoping to lift players around her, vice captain this year. Influential player and all round midfielder, really striking off left or right, so that's a super start for Offaly. They try and work on that from here.
What do you do, Sean, if you're in a management position? Because sometimes you come in, you see the heads down. It is hard when things are going against you to lift it, but certainly there is 10 points between the sides in Camogie hurling. Not a massive amount with a half an hour to go, but you would feel that Offaly will need to isolate the likes of Sarah Harding, Groin Egan, and maybe Kay Kenny inside, because they will need green flags, Sean.
Yeah, definitely need green flags. It was at the junior B Camogie final between St. Rynagh's and Siobhan. So Rynagh's were up with 11 points with 15 to go, but Siobhan brought back to 1. Hopefully Offaly will be able to replicate that here today.
Well, certainly Offaly are on the first 2 attacks and they've got the first 2 scores, so Sean, maybe a second half performance to come.
Yeah, exactly. Super score there from Siobhan. Siobhan didn't have her strongest first half, so that'll bring her into it nicely. Offaly will be hoping to push up on the Tipperary puck out here and not give them anything easy.
Well, Caoimhe Burke now, she's coming with her third puck in this second half. She gets it out towards Julianne Burke, and Sarah Harding puts pressure on them. And now suddenly, Sean, there's a bit of optimism there by Offaly. If they can get this third attack and maybe work a third score, referee won't allow that to be quick taken. Kay Kenny was inside. But certainly, Offaly, if they just maybe get the next few attacks, the next few scores, they'll have a chance.
Yeah, and very unlucky there, Sarah Harding. Referee, instead of awarding Offaly the line ball in, he deemed it was a foul on the Tipperary player. So now Tipperary have got a free, and it will be brought up to almost the 45 because of dissent from an Offaly player. So very unfortunate there for Offaly, trying to build some momentum. Soft free given against them.
Yeah, certainly harsh enough on the Offaly girls as they look to just try and take that line ball quick. They work it forward Tipperary now towards Orla the Wire. Just breaks beyond her there as Offaly go back through Granny Dole and try and put enough pressure. But Orla the Wire, she slips her marker, gets inside onto the 14, gets her shot away, but that's scrambled out for 45. I think by Michaela Markham getting a touch on it there, but certainly the Wire, every time she gets that ball, she's a live danger. And it's certainly one thing Offaly need to reduce Tip is just that influence of that willing runner from middle of the field, because every time Tip come from deep, there's runners there in support.
Yeah, and I think as a backs player, as a backsman and backswoman, you're always tempted to get as close to the ball as possible. Oftentimes enough, if the forward has the ball, maybe you're better off taking a step back, because if you get too close, we've seen a number of Offaly backs here have got very close to their player, and then in turn they've been forced to commit the foul. So perhaps Tipperary forward gets the ball, you might be able to shepherd her out a small bit and maybe make her make that decision instead of giving away another free.
Well, here come Tip now through Coach Siobhan to just try and break that sequence of Offaly scores. It's currently Tip a goal of 14, Offaly 8 points. But here comes Devan now with the ball, 21 metres out, just well out to the left hand side of the goal. But Julie obliges and makes no mistake and gets her 6th point of the game. So Devan certainly unerring from place balls, and in open play she's been quite good as well. As Maria Jennings comes with that ball, she spots a good run from Aisling Brennan, but it's just not taken there by Brennan. And the opposite number 9, Arena Friday, gets back to win that ball back for Tipperary. Tipperary now being stood up by Brennan once again, and that's a good hook by Aisling Brennan. And in fairness, Sean, you did mention it late in that first half that she's probably been maybe Offaly's best performer so far.
Yeah, exactly. Aisling Brennan doing all she can there in and around the middle, being very, very busy. Hopefully fatigue won't become an issue for the busier players. Looking at the full forward line here, Offaly started the game with a 2-player full forward line in Sarah Harding and Gone Eagles. So perhaps if they could get an early goal on here, we could be looking at a different game, Joe.
Well, Orla Kerwin now is going to have a chance, and we all know Orla, a fine striker of the ball from both frees, general play, and this time it's going to be a sideline cut for Orla, so she's taking her time just to make a good connection with it, because if she can launch that in around the square, Offaly just might be quickest to react on the break. She gets that forward along the ground towards Kate Kenny. Kate Kenny just tries to hand pass it back out towards Orla Kerwin, but just doesn't come off the hand right, and it's going to be a line ball coming back for Tipperary. So still a goal and 15 for Tip, 8 points for Offaly, and Tip just keeping that 10-point advantage there, as it seems, as Offaly tried to chip away at it time and time again. Tip just immediately able to go up and respond every time they've needed to. Tip take their line ball back towards their own defender, Mary Ryan. Mary Ryan sends it across the field now towards Clodagh McIntyre. Clodagh McIntyre has the run on Sharon Shannon. Sharon Shannon tries to narrow the angle all the while, but Tip go forward now and get the hand pass away, and here they come on the attack now once again through Aoife McGrath. Aoife McGrath shoots, but that's just out to the left hand side and wide, so a good chance gone there for Tip, but certainly Offaly just struggling with the willingness of that Tip runners, and a very fast and fit team, Tipperary, Sean.
Yeah, very fast and fit, but I would prefer to see Offaly, tracking them as best they can, force them into shot. Offaly did well, defended that ball, made the wing back here in front of us, Aoife McGrath, take that shot from an awkward angle, and the Offaly coach, Jerry Scales there, be happy with that kind of pressure from their back, so Offaly not committing any silly fouls here for the start of the second half.
So a sub there for Offaly, the first into the game, and that's Amy Byrne wearing 17, and Grania Dolan at wing back. She makes way for some fresh legs as Offaly try to win this ball out in the middle of the field. Michaela Markham scrambling for it, she catches it there and takes a big hit there off Karen Blair, and that's going to be certainly a card for a head high tackle, as Michaela Markham had won that ball. Maybe not too much in it, in fairness, Sean. Certainly a foul and certainly maybe a yellow card, but I don't think to her credit she was really trying to do Michaela there.
No, and Michaela found herself standing in under that ball. The ball broke up into the air. You just have to keep your eye in it and hope for the best that no one come in on you. Don't think player there for Tipperary, number 17, Karen Blair, really meant much by that. Just found herself in the tackle. I think
Siobhan Flannery comes back to hit this one. Orla Kerwin well able to hit these two, but Mairead Tehan had been hitting the ball of Offaly's frees quite well, so maybe this one just slightly outside of her range. Siobhan Flannery, of course, a huge belt of a ball, as we've seen her for both St. Ryan and Offaly time and time again, so she'll do well now to just try and land this. She lifts that ball, makes good connection with it. It is dropping in around the square. Can Offaly get a final touch on it? Mairead Tehan has it here. Chance of a goal! Just smothered there on the line as Tip come away with it. That was a fine chance by Mairead Tehan. She carried the ball forward from that break and just tried to get it, but smothered up there by a host of Tipperary defenders. But Offaly win the line ball, and certainly, Sean, we did say if Offaly are to win this match, they're going to have to raise green flags, and not a better chance in the game so far than that one.
No, and they're physical. Offaly are physical in the full forward line there. The ball will break for them. Very unfortunate there, Tipperary player got back in time, but definitely the right thing to do there, step inside and take the shot. It's unfortunate this time.
So that ball taken up there, the second attempt by Sharon Shannon, but again Tipperary just weaves their way out of the fence through their centre back Karen Kennedy. Karen Kennedy sends it forward now over the head of Orla Dwyer, and quickest out there is Ian McGrath, a corner forward for Tip. She's trying to go by Lorraine Keena, who's trying to shadow her all the way, but McGrath cuts back in onto her right hand side, but that's pulled out to the right hand side and wide, and Offaly momentarily just get off the leash there. It's still a goal and 15 Tip. 8 points for Offaly. Maria Jennings now tries to set up an attack from the Offaly goal. She sends it out to the centre back, Michaela Markham. Michaela Markham spins and strikes it up the line rather quickly in towards Grania Egan. Grania Egan out in front of her marker there, whips it forward. Roisin Egan tries to race after, but again Tip just alert to the brakes, and they try and hand pass it back as far as Mary Ryan, the full back. She gets blocked up though, but it just does find its way to her centre back Karen Kennedy. Despite the Offaly pressure, Kennedy gets it away. Amy Byrne now tries to bat it back there for Offaly, but the referee has spotted something off the ball there. Maybe a late challenge by Kate Kenny possibly on Karen Kennedy, but certainly he's calling just back for that ball. So this is going to be a free to tip as Offaly just look to make another change to try and introduce some quick legs, and that looks to be Emma Maroney, who we did name earlier. This Offaly with a change of jersey. So Siobhan Flannery going off, and Emma Maroney, the KK player, she's coming in now, and Tip are going to have that free back on their own 21-yard line almost, and they lift that ball now and strike it up the field as the game gets underway once again. Orla Dwyer's the target, but Offaly back that down there through Sharon Shanahan, but it's only as far as one of the Tip girls, and again they win the free. So it's just all once again Tip just getting back into the groove, Sean.
Yeah, Tipperary finding their groove there, came onto the ball well, tripped there by the Offaly wing back, trying to retreat, so very unfortunate there for Offaly. But still much more promising here from the start. The start of the second half, Offaly showing much more fight, forwards working hard. Aisling Brennan started brightly in the second half as well, and yeah, much better performance here in general from Offaly, so I'm sure Susan Norman will be pleased with the first 10 minutes of the second half here.
Well, Coach Van now the latest player just to take this free now for Tipperary as the game gets underway once again. Van lifts that ball out almost on the sideline from 45 metres, but a rare miscue by Caught Van. Struck that ball well, but out to the left hand side and wide, and certainly it'll be a chance now for Offaly to set up the next attack, but they'll need to get a purple patch in this game, because for the majority of it Tipperary have controlled proceedings, it has to be said, as Maria Jennings now lifts that ball and strikes out that puck out in the direction of the Offaly midfield, but again Tip just overturned that ball. They've been smothered up there now, but again it's going to be a line ball for Tip, and even a lot of the breaks, Sean, it's just been a facet of the game so far that all the breaks that come down, putting both sets of players there, Tip just seem to be more dogged in the tackle on the ground.
Yeah, and Tipperary have really made use of centre forward there, Roisin Howard. You know, she's been very, very busy. Not the tallest of players in stature, but you know, she's low to the ground. She's getting on breaking ball. She's throwing it around. She's making space for each of the Tipperary forwards. Probably pretty much like the seniors.
As Tip go on the attack once again, just as we were talking about that point, as quick as a flash, Orla Dwyer, she gets in for her second goal in the game. She collected the ball about 35 metres, broke the tackle, and straight through. There's only one thing on her mind, and with that, that's going to make what already was a large mountain to climb for Offaly. It's going to be all the more daunting now as Offaly try and get that ball forward once again. But again, Tip just reading everything. They dropped the hurl there and out over the line through Mary Ryan, but they won't be too displeased with that, because it just shows how quick Tip have been onto the breaking ball here time and time again, as Roisin Eagle just wants to take this line ball. But again, it is Offaly now just 8 points, Tip 2 goals and 15, and looking increasingly comfortable. So it's going to be a big ask for Offaly. They started the first half well, but again Tip getting back into their stride after 10 minutes of this second half here in Banagher. Offaly now trying to go on the attack once again, but again Tip just get a hurl to it through their wing back Aoife McGrath. Offaly tried to overturn it through Maria Tehan now as Tip tried to clear the lines, and again Tip just winning that ball on the ground, the dirty ball as it's always said, and away come Tip now as they fly up the line through Maria Everston. She gets it forward now towards Roisin Howard. Roisin Howard has a chance now to pick a good running by Orla Dwyer. Ball bounces kindly to the wire. She skips back in onto her right, going for her third goal. It saves on the line, but carried over the line. Just the power in the shot, getting away from Maria Jennings. And Sean, a girl we spoke about before the match, Orla Dwyer, 3-2 to her name so far from midfield.
Yeah, a hat-trick of goals there for Orla Dwyer. She steps back in. Maria Jennings perhaps be disappointed not to have kept that one out. Ball didn't sit nicely on the AstroTurf. It often causes problems for goalies. Maybe if the grass was there, it might have been able to hold up a little bit. But the ball scrambled in over the line there, and very unfortunate for Offaly as they're trying to gain some momentum in this game.
So certainly Tip looking increasingly comfortable now as they bring in a sub, and Miriam Campion comes into the game, and off goes Emer McGrath with 2 points to her name. Offaly again now try to get it up towards Emma Maloney, the youngster, the minor for both KK and Offaly as Tip go forward now once again, but they will have a free there. They had the advantage from that chop across by Aisling Brennan, and it is Tip now who will head towards the next water break. We look at the clock, there is 12 minutes gone, another 2 or 3 to play, and maybe both sets of players just get some much needed fluids on today. But Tip now will have this free through Coach Van back on the 65 metre line, just a yard in from the sideline. So we look at the scoreboard once again. Tip 3-15, Offaly 8 points, and certainly, Sean, I think even at this stage with maybe 17 minutes to go, that certainly Tip have the work done to win this match.
Yeah, Tip have done really, really well. You know, that goal was really killer for Offaly. Oftentimes you see a goal that really kills the game off, and it came right at the right time there for Tipperary.
Well, Tip send that ball in from Camogie now. They're going to be quickest to react to it, but that's a good block by Lorraine Keenan. Away come Offaly now with the ball. They try to work it out through Sarah Walsh. Sarah Walsh now back to her opposite cornerback, Lorraine Keenan. She tries to get up towards Maria Teeth, but again, Tip overturned it. Orla Wire now wins it among a forest of players and sends it across towards Grace O'Brien. Grace O'Brien now has runners inside her. She'll have to go herself. Grace O'Brien still going, won't get the shot away, but will get the hand pass. But again, she just had the advantage. The ref can be slow enough in blowing it. In fairness, it probably was a free there for Tipperary, but doesn't signal the advantage too early, Sean.
No, I was wondering about that. How long does he have before he can, before the advantage is dropped? He seems to be able to give them a good 6-7 seconds in that one. So, it definitely works for the player who's being fouled anyway.
Well, Camogie was going to have a more simple free by her standards because she's been generally immaculate from place balls. Just the one wide and one from distance. She dropped into the square and Tip almost got yet another goal, but it is Camogie now on the ball, just about 48 metres out from the Offaly goal, a yard or two to the right hand side. It's currently Tip 3-15, Offaly 8 points. Can Camogie make it 16 points for the Premier County? And indeed she does, and she's been flawless, Sean, from place balls.
Yeah, she has. She's been super to watch. She's floating around there. She's playing exactly the way you want to play on the edge of the D, catching balls right and left hand, flicking them off, scoring points. So she's been quite flawless this afternoon.
Well, away come Tip, and immediately they win that Offaly puck out. They go forward now through Aoife McGrath. She sends it down into the corner, and again now Tip just through the sub that came in moments ago, Miriam Campion. She tries to get her first score, and she adds to Tip's tally. And this is just looking so comfortable now for this gallant Tipperary side. They currently lead Offaly 3 goals and 17 points to Offaly's 8 points. So Mairead Jennings now comes with the puck out once again down towards Emma Rooney and Sarah Harding. Sarah Harding, to her credit, she's been starved of possession in this game. She loses the hurl, and Tip come out with it quite easy once again. They get up as far as Clodagh McIntyre. She just keeps that ball alive. Offaly try to overturn it now through both Kay Kenny and Sarah Harding. Sarah Harding sweeps it forward to Kay Kenny. This is a chance now for Kay Kenny to open her legs and run forward for Offaly. Kay Kenny, she's still going. She's on the 21, she's on the 14, but she's just well blocked down there by Karen Kennedy just as she looked to pull the trigger, and that's fantastic defending by the Tip centre back. Can Offaly keep the chance alive? No is the answer. Ashley Brennan got her hurl too, but just carries it out over the sideline, and certainly that's what we spoke of. Offaly trying to get Kay Kenny on the ball. She has speed to burn, but what defending by Karen Kennedy there.
Yeah, super defending there. She made Kate, she could see Kate wanted to throw out the ball. There was a Tipperary player tracking her close behind. Kate was looking for the pass, and she just made it very difficult to get the angle for the pass there. Eventually Kate really ran out of options. Super defending there, good unity in defence by Tip.
Well, it is Tip who go forward now on the ball once again. They try to work a score here now, and Tip again immediately applied the other end, and it is going to be Tip who are just going to run out winners in this match. There is no doubt about it at this stage. We look at the clock now, 15 minutes played. There'll probably be maybe one more attack before the water break, and then there'll be a quarter of an hour to go. So Philip MacDonald just looks out to his linesman. I'd say after this attack they're going to see a water break as Sharon Shanahan gets that ball, tries to work it up the field for Offaly, but again just tipped there out in front as they've been so often in this match. Offaly overturning through Orla Kerwin. She gets it forward now towards Roisin Egan. Orla Kerwin eventually wins it back. Kerwin now running through on goal. She hand passes it out towards Kay Kenny. Kay Kenny will try to burrow inside, gets a knock for herself, but gets the ball and gets it over the bar, and to her credit she's keeping going. That's a good score.
Yeah, beautiful score there, and she's clever enough. There's 3 Tipperary players around her, and she always looks like she's going in slow motion. Next thing she has acres of space. I don't know how she does it. She's able to well protect herself while there from the player coming in from the side and slipped it over the right hand side. So beautiful score there by Kay Kenny.
Well, with that, it is in for the water break now, and after that there'll be about 14-15 minutes left, but you'd feel it's damage limitation for Offaly and just looking for a final quarter performance, because they'll have Wexford and Limerick to come, but certainly they look too far behind to try and pack back this Tipperary team. But I suppose, Sean, you look down the management team there, they're just having a word with the girls as they gather in. All it'll be about now is really trying to improve the performance for the final 15.
Yeah, and it takes, it's a real testament to character. You often see teams there that no matter how far they're back, no matter how much they're losing by, they don't throw in the towel. And, I think the faithful fans appreciate that, and it's a testament to their character here if they can just keep going to the end, and hopefully decrease the deficit of 18 points to something a little bit smaller.
Well, it's certainly a rampant Tipperary performance so far in sweltering hot conditions here in St. Rynagh's in Banagher. as Sean Dolan and myself, we might as well be in the shoe in Alcatraz because this is unbearable heat, it has to be said, but certainly it's hot for the players outside too. Tipperary definitely the happier side in this moment at the minute. The referee just allowing them a bit more time to get, because it is definitely hot conditions out there. Philip McDonald now just about to blow the whistle, and we'll have just a quarter of an hour to go. I see Maria Devery down there, one of the Offaly secretaries there, just bringing in what looks like a piece of paper. There'll probably be another change for this Offaly team, and maybe, Sean, you'd feel the result is probably away from, but there will be a chance maybe for Offaly to bring in a couple of more subs and blood them at this level.
Yeah, exactly. And no better time to come on than the last 15 minutes of the championship game, first championship game. See Susan Earner, they're very, very positive manager. She might be hoping to bring on some player there and give her the first 10 to 15 minutes.
Well, let's see who's going off, but certainly Caitlin Kennedy is into the Offaly attack at right half forward. We'll just see, it could possibly be Mairead Tehan. I don't see her back out, so yeah, Caitlin Kennedy in for Mairead Tehan, and the game will restart now with a puck out here momentarily. So it's currently 3-18 for Tipperary, 9 points for Offaly, just a little over 15 minutes to go in this game, as the puck out looks to come here now, or to restart this game once again. Philip McDonald just looking to see where the ball is tipped now. We'll possibly be looking to bring in a sub or two as well. I see them with the notice board there in front of us, just trying to scribble down a couple of names, but the referee won't allow it just yet. Tipped now, puck out this ball through Caoimhe Burke out towards the middle of the field. It just breaks over. Orla Dwyer was again the intended target, but she was well marshalled that time by Sarah Walsh, who gets it forward as far as Roisin Egan. Roisin Egan sends the ball in which breaks down now in front of Kay Kenny. Kay Kenny comes forward with that ball, strikes the ball on the run over just to the left hand side of goal, but Sarah Harding will keep this in. She's on her knees, might maybe deserve a free there. She tries to come back in field with it to keep this move alive, to try and maybe work a goal. Sarah Harding, she had her free. The referee does take a long time to blow, and it'll be a chance now. And maybe just Offaly, I maybe said Mairead Egan was gone off, or Mairead Tehan I should say, but I think it actually is Grania Egan. So maybe Mairead Tehan might think of a goal in this one, Sean.
Yeah, she's not to lose now at this stage. Super work there from Sarah Harding. Thought, she tried really, really hard there. Oftentimes fighting against 2 or 3 Tipperary defenders there. So Sarah Harding, another player might have lost that ball, but she's definitely fouled 2 or 3 times there. Well deserved free. Well,
Mairead Tehan now about to take this free 21 metres out. As we said, she might think a goal. She doesn't get the best of shots away. Comfortably saved by Caoimhe Burke and brought out by her corner back. And away go Tip now in the attack. But Caitlin Kennedy is just trying to win back that ball. And that's well done there by the young Offaly wing forward there. Again tries to get the block in, but again Offaly just can't hold on to that ball, and Tip come to the field with now through Orla Dwyer, but again she's dispossessed by Roisin Egan. Roisin Egan now has players in support, but just as she tries to hand pass that ball, spills it out over the line ball, and again it just all going Tip's way in this game. So 3-18 for Tip, 9 points for Offaly, and Tip at the line ball to come about 65 metres out from the Offaly goal. And again, Sean, even just Offaly, by the nature of the pressure from the Tipperary players, been forced into making mistakes.
Yeah, Joe, that was a mistake there that you probably wouldn't make in the first half. Players probably really feeling the heat here this evening, this afternoon with Banagher. It's tough conditions out there. Tipperary, as we said earlier, when you win the game and you're in control of the ball and whatnot, you don't tend to be as fatigued as when you're chasing tails.
Well, here comes Tip now trying to create another goal chance. Offaly scrambling in vain just to try and keep them at bay, and certainly this time Offaly do win it for pushing it back there on Sharon Shanahan, and it is going to be a free out for Offaly. But again, Tip, as we look at the clock since this game started, there's about maybe 11 minutes left plus whatever the referee adds as additional time, and certainly you just feel like Tip are happy to get this game peter out to a conclusion, because they're currently 3 goals and 18 points to Offaly's 9, so just Offaly just trying to maybe play for a bit of pride and get a bit more experience for some of the girls at this level, as Maria Jennings again sends this ball out towards the middle of the field. It'll break towards Aisling Brennan. Ball bobbles around there and hits the helmet of one of the Tip players as Kay Kenny races on to now and sends the ball across towards Sarah Harding. Sarah Harding tries to win that, but it's blocked away there by Karen Blair. Karen Blair now, as that ball broke, gets it in field towards Grace O'Brien, and she creates an overlap now, and again Tip go on the attack. They'll have a chance now to send in a good ball from the halfway line towards Orla Dwyer. Orla Dwyer doesn't catch it in the first attempt, but will regather herself, and she'll shoot for about 45 metres, but that's going to be short as far as Maria Jennings, who knocks it out the field now as Offaly look to go on the attack. Orla Curran looks for that ball up the field. Orla Dwyer almost gets there, but Orla Curran wins it first. Comes back in field now towards the centre half position, and just goes over the head of Sarah Harding as Emma Maroney tries to chase, but again back there goes Karen Blair for a Tip once again, and Tip now through Lorna Dwyer. They're trying to come out with the ball. Offaly, 2 women there just to try and overturn that back. They're still batting hard for one, and there is Aisling Aisling Brennan, she's ran herself into the ground, but again Karen Blair just gets the break of that ball back behind Tip's half back line, and they go on the attack once again. Here come Tip now towards the magnificent Orla Dwyer. She gets back now, gets a bit of space. She's not going to shoot from there, but will send this ball into that full forward, and away go Tip now. They try to create a chance in there in that full forward, and Offaly just trying to bottle it up, and again good defending by Lorraine Keane forces her marker wide, but Tip keep the chance alive. Michaela Markham just got wrong footed there, and Tip will have a chance now to add to their tally, but again Offaly just block it up there now, and Sharon Shannon tries to win that ball on the ground. Eventually she comes forward with it, she has the advantage and will have the free. The referee hasn't blown it, let's just see where the ball breaks, and again it is Tip who just had that ball, so Offaly back for the advantage, and certainly they do take a while to blow for him, but he's making the correct decision there, Sean.
Yeah, definitely making the correct decision. Super defending there by Lorraine Keane. Easy at this stage of the game to give up when Tip players through on goals. She waited for Tip substitute there, number 21, Emer Heffern, to throw up the ball, then she came across and flicked the ball away. Super defender, the cornerback Lorraine Keane.
Well, Offaly now will try and make something out of this as Sarah Harding sends in a good low ball. It just again breaks off Mary Ryan, and Tip come away with it that bit easier. Once again, Offaly just trying to overturn it, but Tip, they're so fit and lean coming out with that ball, and powerful runners as they work it forward towards Julianne Burke. She sends forward the ball, but it's overturned by Michaela Markham. Michaela Markham now trying to make something happen from centre back. She's marauding her way up the field, and she spotted a gap. She sets it out towards Caitlin Kennedy with the pass, just eludes Kennedy, but she tries to win it back on the ground and hold it up as Michaela Markham again on her knees tries to win that ball. Sarah Harding there as well, but it is Tip who come away with it once again, and they have the free and the advantage, but the referee waves play on as Karen Kennedy gets that ball forward, and away go Tip now. Can they get in for goal number 4? Lorraine Keane just trying to hold up her marker there, but again Tip continuing forward. They have the ball in the roof of the net, but the referee this time had blown for it, and certainly I think it was Miriam Campion, she will be raging there because she finished the goal with a plumb to the back of the net, and certainly the advantage had been blown this time, Sean.
Yeah, she can't be too hard on the ref there because she had taken about 8 or 9 steps before that when she was being held, so she only got to throw out the ball for a shot after the referee blew the whistle. So I think it was a good call there from Philip McDonald.
Well, Coach Evan, she hasn't seen a lot of ball in the last 5 or 10 minutes, but as I said, the game just maybe petering down to its inevitable conclusion at this stage. As we look at the clock, there is about maybe 8 minutes left, and Coach Evan will have a chance to add to her and Tipperary's tally, and she sends that ball high out over the ball stopper here in Banagher, and another point to muted applause here, as Coach Evan knows that her side look to be getting the win here in this round 1. Of course, Offaly and Tip will both have Wexford and Limerick to come in this group, as both them sides also clash this weekend, as Kate Kenny now tries to win that ball out around the middle. She kicks it back towards Sharon Shannon, but just rolls out over the line, and again it's just all seems to be going Tip's way, and Tip now will line up this line ball through Grace O'Brien. If she's going to hit this, the referee just calls for a stoppage. And again, Sean, is hard. Their conditions are tough. Certainly Offaly up against it. It is a chance. We see Susan Erner trying to empty her bench to maybe get some game time into some of the players, but certainly a difficult afternoon to get back in on the horse.
Yeah, difficult afternoon, and I suppose the real killer there was Orla Dwyer's third goal that came about 10-12 minutes into the second half there. Offaly were after gaining momentum, had 3 points on the trot there after half time, and that was a real killer, and Offaly really struggled since that goal.
Yeah, well, Tip misplaced that line ball now, and Sharon Shannon overturns it for Offaly. They work it out towards Orla Kerwin, who tries to flick it in field towards Kate Kenny, and she does. Kate Kenny now with a little series of play passes with Orla Kerwin as they get it forward towards Roisin Egan. It might break kindly for Egan, but just again Tip sweep across and come out with that ball, and it breaks to Orla Dwyer. She flicks it towards Nicole Walsh. Nicole Walsh now tries to get it forward, but Caitlin Kennedy overturns it for Offaly, sends it forward. Emma Maroney went to ground, so too did her marker Emer Lockman, so little or nothing there between both players, just both seem to hit the ground at the same time, and again Tip overturned that ball. They work it out towards Nicole Walsh, who sends it forward once again. Can Tip finish off with a flourish? They've been so good in this game. They get that ball into the hands of Cork Javan, score on their own, a quick flick of the wrist over the head of Trina McDonald, and that's brilliant play once again, Sean.
Yeah, brilliant play there from Tip. The physicality you mentioned before in the game really standing Tip there. We're looking out at the field there, just physically they're a lot bigger framed, women up the second, they're moving a lot faster. Tipperary really top shape.
Well, it's Caitlin O'Mara who tries to come forward with this ball for Offaly once again, but again Tip, they're so resolute in that defence. They've been hounding that Offaly forward unit from minute 1, and they're going as strong now as the game ticks towards the end. It is currently Offaly just 9 points. Tip with a huge scoring of 3 goals and 19 points in this game so far, as they take that line ball out through Grace O'Brien. She gets it in field, and Tip do well to hold on to it there as they try to get forward through the ball. They work it towards Nicole Wall. She looked maybe overcarried, but again, in any case, Offaly have overturned it now as they get it forward now towards Roisin Egan. She'll have a chance maybe to get a score on the run, and Roisin Egan gets it over the bar. Again, it's a good score for Roisin Egan. Won't affect the outcome of the game here, but certainly Offaly looking maybe just to take the positives from this one.
Yeah, Roisin Egan there. Probably the first time in the whole game that she was able to lose Karen Kennedy in that kind of very important central position there on the edge of the 45. Perhaps it was a bit earlier in the game she would have put the head down, buried her way through, but happy enough to take the point at this late stage.
So Michaela Markham gathers that ball for Offaly, gets it forward towards Emma Maroney, but again, Tip back there in the numbers in defence, and they work it forward now towards Claudia McIntyre once again. Claudia McIntyre tries to bring it forward for Tipperary. She just gets by the Offaly defence. She's been bottled up, but finds Orla O'Dwyer. Orla O'Dwyer now with the short ball, sends it in towards the centre half forward position, and Orla Curran back there with Michaela Markham trying to overturn this ball. Grace O'Brien, she's been strong on the ball. She's small in stature, but very, very powerful in the tackle, as Nicole Walsh tries to bring it forward for Tip once again. Again, Sharon Shanahan just tries to overturn this ball, and Offaly they're staying battling on to their credit, but again, the game gone beyond doubt for a long time as they work it forward towards Maria Tehan. Again, Tip back there in numbers. Offaly just maybe you can see trying to get a stranglehold around the middle of the field, but it's leaving a bit light on top in that forward unit as Tip again they go forward with the ball. Koch Van screen for it inside. She might be able to get it now, but it goes across towards Grace O'Brien. Koch Van waiting in the wing just behind Offaly though, trying to overturn this ball. But again, Amy Byrne just caught there, but again brings it forward, and eventually Michaela Markham wins the break and strikes it overhead towards Roisin Egan. Roisin Egan bats it down towards Caitlin O'Mara. O'Mara now and Roisin Egan together win this ball. Roisin Egan was going to shoot, took it back on the hurl. This time now she gets the shot away, but it's not going to threaten for a score. The Tip goalie does drop it inside, but Offaly had the advantage for a late flick there by one of the Tip players, and I think Sean did going to maybe just drop this one in and hope for the best.
Yeah, drop it in. I see the Tipperary centre back there, Karen Kennedy, happy enough to just play just on the edge of the deep, give her full back line that extra bit of protection. Probably going to see out the wing now, play a little bit deeper. Roisin Egan's able to come out towards midfield and pick off the scores, but really few forwards are getting the ball out there. There's no real danger goal if Tipperary are lining up full back line there with 4 or 5 players.
Well, Maria Tehan now just going to take this free for Offaly. She might just think about dropping it in towards Emma Rooney. About 4 minutes left in this one here in Banagher. Maria Tehan now, she'll know Offaly need to improve for the next round of the championship. They lift that ball now and she strikes it confidently, and it's straight over the bar. Good as free by Maria Tehan, but again, Offaly a long way off the pace here. It's still Tip 3 goals and 20 points, Offaly 11 points, and certainly Tip maybe a team to watch for in this championship, because they will surely take top spot in this group at the end of the weekend as they go in the attack now once again. Michaela Markham watches the whole way, but Tip just keep that ball to their advantage. Over by that little flick by Claudia McIntyre, but again, just as Offaly look out with a Tip, overturn it down, they're racing forward. They have players inside. Can Tip finish with goal number 4? They'll probably have the advantage here. Miriam Campion gets the ball outfield, and again, Tip just content to take their point there. Again, another one of their subs combining, and this time Tip get the point, and now Sean, 3-21 for Tip, an impressive score.
Yeah, and Tipperary substitute there, number 21, Emer Heffernan, comes on, she's after scoring her second point for the play there. She'll be delighted with that, probably hoping to put her name in the hat for the next day. Tipperary looked very, very self-assured for the next day. Probably Kosh Van played really, really strong performance there, showed that she was different class. Tipperary have had outstanding performances all around. For Offaly, probably Roisin Egan, Michaela Morgan was good at centre back, Ashley Brennan tried her hardest. But overall, Tipperary showed a different class this evening.
Well, certainly hard to argue with any of those points Sean has made, as Maria Tehan now is going to have one more chance for free for Offaly. Time running away all the while. There's about 2 minutes left of normal time, plus whatever the referee decides to play on in this one. But I think for various reasons, both sets of mentors will just be happy not to expend too much more energy on a very, very hot day, probably the hottest day of the year in Ireland so far, as Maria Tehan just pulls that ball out to the right hand side and wide, and Tip will be happy just to see that one, knowing they have a 19-point lead, just to see this game out and risk no further injury. It is Tip currently 3-21, Offaly 11 points as Orla Kerwin just gets her hold of that ball but carries it out over the sideline. And again, a difficult start in this All-Ireland Championship group for Offaly as Tip whipped that line ball in from Nicole Walsh. They win that now and try to go forward with it again. Tip overturned that ball as they've done so often before. We're just going to say Offaly had broken down that Tip attack, but again they're running forward now through Clodagh McIntyre. She gets the hand pass out towards Orla Dwyer. Orla Dwyer off her left hand side. She'll try and hoist another white flag for herself and Tipperary, and indeed she does. A huge individual performance. 3-3 from Orla Dwyer, Sean, and it just goes to show the spread of scores Tip have had in this game.
Yeah, and it's a great sign for a forward line or a manager and that's why they're so diverse. If you have 6 forwards there, then anyone can play in any position, 10 to 15. It's very difficult to defend for one thing. It gives.
Oh, that's a brilliant goal. Sean was just finishing his point there as Maria Tehan raced onto that ball. She took it forward a couple of strides and unleashed a huge unstoppable shot to the top right hand corner. As good a goal as we've seen in this game, or as good a score as we've seen in this game, and that's now a goal and 6 points for Maria Tehan. But that's certainly a brilliant goal. Unfortunately, from her and Offaly's perspective, it won't affect the outcome of the game as Tip immediately go forward to Marion Campion, and she pops a ball over the bar to get her second point since she was introduced. But certainly a fine goal there by Maria Tehan. But Tip again immediately just so easy to get scores the other end. It is currently Tip 3-23, Offaly a goal and 11 as we head into additional time here. Tip bomb forward with that ball again, maybe charging there, but Aisling Brennan knocked to the ground, but Offaly don't get the free, and Offaly now just trying to hold it up through Amy Byrne in the corner. Tip again really battling hard for the try to overturn it through Grace O'Brien, and Grace O'Brien now just down the corner. She has possession of the ball, half a block coming in there from Amy Byrne, and the ball breaks as far as Trina MacDonald at full back. She works it forward towards Aisling Brennan. Brennan now goes up the field towards Roisin Egan, who's come into this game a bit better in the second half. She hoists up a high ball, going for the score, but it breaks in around the square. Can Offaly react quickest to it? Maria Tehan trying to win this ball. She holds it up now, gets it under 14, but can't get up into her hand, and Tip happy enough to play a lot of ladies football down there as well, and they kick that ball out over the end line, and it's going to be a 45 for Offaly. But Sean, late into this game, Offaly probably will maybe just drop this one in, but certainly I think both sets of managements now for different reasons looking for the final whistle.
Yeah, for sure, Joe, and Offaly deserved that goal there. They've been threatening there all evening, and Tipperary have put up a super score, but I think Offaly deserves a goal later on. Offaly will probably, like you said, drop this one in and hope for the best.
Well, it's going to be Maria Tehan now. She's been Offaly's main scoring threat so far. She's got a goal and 6 out of their goal and 11 total. She might just maybe be content to pop this ball over the bar, because even a goal at this late stage won't make any difference to the result, as Maria Tehan now lifts that ball, or about to lift that ball I should say, on the 45. We'll just see what she's going to do with it. She lifts it and happy enough to take the point and just eat into that Tipperary lead, and it is with that the final whistle. It finishes here. Tipperary 3 goals and 23, Offaly a goal and 12. Offaly in a group of course along with Wexford and Limerick in this, and it's certainly the Tipperary ladies, they'll be the happier going home this evening, and they'll be a big ask for anyone in that group. At full time here it is Tipperary 3-23, Offaly a goal and 12. My thanks to Sean Dolan on co-commentary here, as Offaly they'll face 2 tough games after a difficult opening start here against Wexford and Limerick. Tipperary go home the happier tonight. From all of us here in St. Rynas and Banagher on a day where it finishes Tip 3-23, Offaly a goal and 12.